It is the supreme symbol of Western civilization and the most perfect ancient buildings on Earth. But if you look closely, it is actually just a shattered empty shell, without even a roof. Was it destroyed by an earthquake? No. It withstood natural disasters for 2 millennia, but failed to guard against a single, incredibly stupid human cannonball. Today, we uncover the tragic past of the Parthenon. Time travels back to 5th century BC Athens to celebrate their victory over the Persian Empire. The ancient Greeks decided to build a temple for the goddess of wisdom, Athena, at the highest point of the city. Breaking your first perception, when it was newly built, it wasn't the cold, pure white it is today, but was painted with extremely vibrant reds, blues, and golds. The architects discovered a fatal problem. Human eyes suffer from optical illusions. If you build a perfectly straight column from a distance, it will appear to concave inwards. To achieve visual perfect straightness, the ancient Greeks deployed terrifyingly precise mathematical codes. The entire Parthenon has no absolute straight lines. All columns are thicker in the middle and narrower at the ends, and even the floor is a slightly upwardly curving arc. Using no cement whatsoever, they relied entirely on iron clamps and extraordinarily precise polishing to fit 20,000 marble blocks together. Inside the temple is a 12-meter-tall statue of Athena, made entirely of a ton of pure gold. However, perfect architecture could not stop the storms of history. With the decline of Greece, the gold from the statue was stripped away to fund military expenses. In the subsequent 1,000+ years, this temple, like a pitiful trophy, was first converted into a Christian church and later turned into a mosque by its conquerors. But the most fatal blow occurred in 1687. The Ottoman Turks of the time were at war with the Venetian army, and they actually used the sacred Parthenon as a gunpowder magazine. They naively thought that the enemy would absolutely never dare to bombard this world-class cultural heritage. But they were wrong. On the night of September 26, a mortar shell fired by the Venetian army smashed through the temple's roof with pinpoint accuracy, igniting the hundreds of barrels of gunpowder inside. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion. 28 indestructible massive marble columns were instantly blown apart, and the exquisite roof was completely vaporized. The perfect building that had stood for 2,000 years was reduced to a pile of rubble in just a few seconds. But that wasn't even the worst part. In 1801, the British ambassador to the Ottoman Empire, Lord Elgin, arrived here, taking advantage of the chaos. He hired men with saws and hammers to forcefully hack off all the finest surviving marble. Sculptures from the temple, loaded them onto ships, and transported them back to Britain. These looted national treasures are still proudly displayed in the British Museum in London. Today's Parthenon is known as the eternally under construction buildings. Metal scaffolding has almost become a part of its body. Modern restoration teams discovered a despairing reality. The ancient Greeks' joining techniques were so advanced that modern people, even with the help of computers, found it extremely difficult to perfectly reconstruct them. To welcome those national treasures scattered overseas, the Greeks spent a fortune building a world-class Acropolis museum at the foot of the temple. The top floor of the museum has deliberately left large, empty spaces. They stubbornly wait for those sculptures in Britain to come home. The Greek government and the British Museum in the UK have been fighting an international war of words for decades, but the British still refuse to return them. War, looting, and acid rain erosion. The Parthenon is heavily scarred, but no matter how much devastation it has suffered, as long as you stand in any corner of Athens and look up, those few surviving giant Doric columns still radiate a beauty of imperfection that makes you want to kneel in reverence. It is the pinnacle of humanity's pursuit of perfection, and the most vivid ironclad proof of humanity's barbaric destructive power.